Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today, I have a 5v5 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxys map generator. Let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 here in the Northwest, ending with Team 2 in the Southeast. Starting off with the southernmost player on Team 1 in Imperial Gray, it is Yoji going first land as a UEF. He is in 1900. To his northeast is a Cybran. We have Signal Runner going first land in Royal Blue. He is a 1500. He is going first land. And in the easternmost section of Team 1, we have Noob Dragoon going first land as another UEF hit for his team. He is a 1300, and he is in Snow White. In Pac-Man Yellow, we have Fur going first land as an Aeon for his team. He is a 1500. And again, he is in Pac-Man Yellow. And last but not least, in lightish red pink, we have Kalsa going first land as the third UEF here for his team. Is her team? Kalsa strikes me as a girl name, but it could be a guy name as well. Who knows? He is going first land. He is in lightish red pink, and he is a 1400. So for Team 1 side of things, we have 3 UEF, an Aeon, and a Cybran, and no Seraphim here for Team 1. Down here in the southwest here for Team 2, it is Forik going first land as a Cybran. He is in Regal Purple, and he is a 1200. Moving eastward in Tropical Ocean Blue, we have Clinch going first land as an Aeon. He is 1500 rated, and again, he is going first land. In the middle here for Team 2, another Aeon here. It is Psycho Ad going first land. He is a 1700, and again, he is in Barbie Pink. To the north as another Aeon here for Team 2. It is Blink Chill, I think that's how I said it, going first land. Again, he is an Aeon. He is a 1900, the highest rated player on Team 2. And again, he is in glow-in-the-dark green. And last but not least, here for Team 2 in the southeast corner of the map, the air player here for his team, it is Corbin, not to be confused with Korriban, the planet from Star Wars. He's going first land as the fourth Aeon here for Team 2. He is an Amethyst Purple, and he is a 1400. So for Team 2 side of things, we have 4 Aeon and 1 Cybran. No Seraphim at all in the entire match. Apologies to those who like to gate in with portals. You are not present in this game. Apologies to you. Hopefully you enjoy the match none the same. Let's take a look at mass before our players scoop it all up. In terms of mass, currently still on the map, we have in reclaim form, we have 7,800, so probably about 8,000 mass for 10 players. That's 800 mass if evenly distributed. Not a ton of mass, but still, actually not a lot anyways. It's not great. It's not a great amount of mass. But again, it is better than nothing. And in terms of mass point layouts, we have quad mechs positions in these kind of valley sections, or surrounded by these plateau sections. There is a tri-mechs position here as well on that upper plateau, and there's a couple of mass points dotted around the middle upper plateau section with a quad mechs position, at least on each approach. So there's a quad here, quad here, quad here, quad here. And a couple of mass points in the corners of the maps, but not a terrible amount. But players will still want to grab them, and they easily form a defensive line on either side of the corners, and even get up to these upper plateaus and ensure that artillery rains down from up there. We do see a decent amount of T1 hunters here for Forik, trying to stop Yoji from establishing a land facility up there. Distance building is very useful, of course, in this game, not having to transport an engineer up top. Unfortunately, it does look like Yoji is suffering from the fact that he doesn't have a lot of units on board that station. So he is getting a second one online versus the one that 4X does have. So it will eventually outproduce him. So he'll need to either compensate that with more and more units being thrown up there, or just more and more facilities, one or the other. Does look like Team 2's Blinkchink is doing another similar thing, doing a distance build to get up onto that upper plateau. What's nice is he has the advantage of having the Trimex position right next door, versus his opponent of Nuke Dragoon does not have much of that. He is building a decent amount of fortresses on this lower section here. He might push southward eventually, It does look like the forces of Blinchink are amassing on that western side, and it does look like the forces for Noob Dragoon move into at least try to intercept if they do decide to attack. We do see the comm of Team 2 Psycho Ed trying to take the middle of the map, the little choke point here. We do see him going for a mass point. I wouldn't be surprised to see at least a one. Actually, he's building an AA gun. Then he'll go for the mass point, and then he stops, decides I don't really need it. He'll get for the mass point, and then maybe put a facility or two just in the middle, try to mess with the pathing of his own units and his opponent's units. And honestly, with Team 2's position, they might just actually take this position, but they could get easily swarmed, so they want to hold Team 1's troops at least in a funnel, and at least, you know, have a kill box essentially. But we'll see what ends up happening in the middle. T2 on the way here for clinch. Gonna probably start building those Oblivion turrets to help solidify that position. T2 as well for Fervor, probably doing a similar thing. But these comms in the north for Team 1 are not as far ahead in terms of the middle and versus Team 2. So Team 2 does have that advantage. They could easily push if they wanted to, but they're deciding to play a little bit more conservatively and hang back for the time being. We see in the south speed and range going on the way here for Forik. He has a nice quad position, getting a nice amount of adjacency, which means it reduces the cost of each of those units by, you know, I don't know what the percentage is, but it's still a decent amount. You know, reducing the, you know, a 10% discount is better than paying full price for something, so that's always the thing. And Team 2's player of Blinchink is really pumping out forces here in the northeast corner. He really wants to claim it. He has grabbed the 4 mexes, or at least has control over them for the time being, and has full control over the plateau section. Doesn't look like Noob Dragoon tried to fight him in that regard. T2 Triad is online here for his main front line. He'll be able to start shooting at things at range. We don't see a lot of action here at 7 minutes in this game. We do see a couple of strikers now starting to push back against Forik's upper plateau section, and we do see more facilities have been constructed to fight off this incoming threat. And he just control K's everything, just goes, not worth it, not worrying about it, deal with it later kind of thing. Just like, nope, don't care. And we do see some engineer, those engineers? Oh no, those are T1 strikers that were just immediately going to be funneled to the front line. But they're actually going to drop a little bit on the other side of that plateau and start going after these units. And we do see a ton of T1 mexes are down. Does look like it was by a couple of strikers that landed earlier on. And Team 1's player of Yoji has claimed the southwestern section, so very similar to what his mirror of Blinchink is doing and grabbing the northeast corner. So Team 2 definitely suffering a blow in the west. And the comm, again, is not super far forward, but it can easily be swarmed, especially when there's a transport constantly throwing units on the ground. It does look like that transport will come in and drop those units in right away. Unfortunately, with that gun upgrade about to finish, those units are going to be wiped out very quickly. Let's take a look at the air situation here. Team 2 already has T2 air facilities online. Same thing here with Team 1. Team 1 is starting their T3 upgrade, which means they're going to be slightly ahead than their opponent in the air game. Won't be super far behind, though. It does look like the strategy for Kalsa is just produce a ton of T1 power. He does not have a he or she does not, I'll just say they do not have a hydrocarbon, so you don't have that easy build order of just pumping out a couple of mexes and then a hydrocarbon. You have to pump out a lot of T1 P-gens as well. We do see a nice force sitting here on the edge. A couple of units and structures are going to be taken out. Would like to see the radar installation taken out here for Team 1 by Team 2. We do see the comm of Psycho Ed with the gun and range, not the advanced range, but at least 2 of the 3 upgrades for Aeon Sniper Commander. And we do see a couple of Oblivion shots going into the ground here. There's one lonely little mantis down here constantly annoying that one PD. And that is the disadvantage here, is that if it's in range, even if it can't actually get a nice line of sight on it, depending on the gun, it doesn't, it still fires. And it's going to constantly fire, and you have to like micro it directly, and it's just annoying. So good move if that was by accident. Still, if it was on purpose, great move by Signal Runner to just annoy that PD And we do see Yoji being attacked here. He did finish his gun upgrade just before the forces are inbound. He decides to retreat and not engage, very interestingly. He could easily probably wipe out these T1 Mantis. There are a couple of assisting units. There's some Medusa in there. There's an intel gathering mole. There's a Sky Slammer as well. Yoji does turn around and start to fire. Get some nice veterancy on that commander. Start to get up and get those stars pinned onto his chest. And the player of Forik has suffered a serious blow in the mechs department. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We saw this one was down 6, 7, 8 mechs is down. We do see one lonely little Medusa moving westward, which will be able to outrange that PD, but don't think it'll get a lot of work done as time goes on. And the Calm of Fordik is just going to push himself directly into Yoji. He doesn't care. He's just going to go for it. It does look like Yoji is retreating forward, trying to stay at range. And trying to just take out those units coming in for Yoji. Push him back. Try to bring some units in probably down south and go after those T1 Mechs. And try to eliminate the eco here for his opponent, which he so very much is annoyed that he did to him. We're trying to get some revenge on that regard. T3 should be done for both teams. Yes, it is. So both teams have access to T3 air technology here at 11 minutes in this game. And really nothing in the middle has essentially happened. Firebase has gone on for Furor. And in the northeast, still kind of just hanging out. So most of this action is happening in the southwest. Before it gets severely wounded, sub 4,000 hit points. He does get a nice ranking veterancy. Will be able to help those hit points recover. But unfortunately, he's still in the red. Yoji has taken a ton of hit points off that commander. Trying to build some wall sections to mess with that pathing of that commander. Same with the T1 land facility. But it doesn't really matter. Dropping below 200 hit points. And that is it. Team 2 loses their first player in this game, Forik, at 11 and a half, almost 12 minutes in this game. And now it is a 5v4 in favor of Team 1. Everything should be transferred over to Blinchill, and then he should be able to just transfer it over. Probably the Clinch would be better. Clinch can focus on the western side. I don't think Blinchill will want to just keep going back and forth, especially when he's building up a nice T2 land force. A lot of engineers going to just go over here for some reason. Don't know if that was a misclick or not, but maybe he thought they were up here, and then now they're just going to die to PD. A couple of PD emplacements here for Noob Dragoon, trying to get some T2 mechs is fully ringed. Has a shield, has T2 radar. Be able to know what's going on up there. And I'm not seeing a lot of pressure here from Team 2's highest rated player to put some artillery up here and start shelling the stuff down below. But maybe he's waiting for something. I don't know. Maybe he's busy probably microing this down here. And now Team 1 is definitely going to exploit the lack of a calm and keep pushing southeast and east depending on where they start. And at least try to take this position. That would be definitely the optimal thing to do here for Team 1. So while Team 1 focuses on this, I wouldn't be surprised if Team 2 tries to push the middle or even the northeast section. Which it doesn't really look like it's happening. Honestly, it's kind of a weird kind of hang back game. Let's take a look at mass per second and see if they're just ecoing more. And I think that's mostly the case, I think. Blink Chill also has 2 bases, so he doesn't really count. But almost 400 for Team 1 and 380 for Team 2. So only about 20 mass behind, if that. Not a lot of mass to be behind here at 13 minutes in this game, though. A lot of T1 Medusa being spammed out of these facilities, as well as a couple of those Mantis. Try to hold back Team 1's advancing force. I don't see a lot of T1 units in the mix here for Yoji, though. We do see a T2 facility online. He's going to start pumping out those pillars here pretty shortly. I don't see any effort to pump out a ton of ASF or early T3 strap bombers from either air player, so that's not really going to happen. Couple of T1 bombers over the top here. They are going to take out these PD that are just kind of sitting there hanging out. And so if Yoji wants to keep the southwestern corner, he needs to do a little bit more to fight these off. But he is encountering an issue where there's a ton of forces here as well. And now T2, those Rhinos. Rhinos are now appearing here on the front lines, and more PD will force the units back for Yoji. He needs to fight back with his own T2 units. He cannot fight just with T1. Because at this stage, T2PD going to start being just thrown anything and everywhere over there to just hold back those T1 units. Cerberus, good at T1. That's it. that's all they're good for, is taking out T1 units. That's it. They're not good for anything else, unless you have 1,000 of them. then yes, if you have 1,000 of them, then you can kill anything. But still, we see a transport with a Harbinger on board, I feel like. Let me see if I can get it. Yep, there is a Harbinger nearby. ASFs are nearby. Will that transport get shot down? Yes, it will, and that Harbinger is immediately killed off, unfortunately, here for Team 2's Psycho Ad. I didn't like the transport idea. Unfortunately, the ASFs for Team 1 were nearby and said, no, not doing that. No. We do see a couple of missile launchers here for Team 1 Signal Runner. They are facing against those volcanoes, and it's not really going to go well. We do see Signal Runner with Nano and Nano and Gun. We see more Oblivion turrets trying to deal with this, but there isn't any radar. Oh, there's one radar, which, if you notice, oh, actually, that's Team 2. And I was like, why can't I see the ring? It can see a decent amount, but because of stealth, you cannot see the actual comm. If it gets cloaking, you won't be able to see the comm at all. And Clinch is being shot at right now by the comm. Those look like he's focusing on the T2 mechs instead. That's a decent amount of Oblivions, and he is getting an air facility online on the front line, probably for some spy planes or just easy T1 bomber spam. More Oblivions being funneled to the front. Clinch will have to retreat, and he'll move forward a little bit to see the comm, but I feel like that is definitely a mistake here. He thinks it was probably a T2 unit or T1 unit, but it was not. It was the comm, and decides to say, nope, not going to stay there. Going to get out of range of that. Does look like we have Psycho Ad having power issues for a second. I think he does fix it. Maybe he was building something or upgrading a lot more mechs than he thought he was. And wait, oh no, I need that power. And we have Team 2's Blink Chill, Blin Chill, Chick, Blin Chick. I think that's how you say it. Is pushing the southwestern section. He does have a couple of ASF support from his teammate. Not that that's really a huge issue. But now we see Psycho Ad trying to do that move with the Harbinger once again. Going to transport it up onto this upper plateau. And we do see it's not really facing any sort of resistance. It is facing a couple of AA, but not a lot. Oh, but it is on the T1 transport, though. Will it be enough? It will be going to drop that down very quickly. T1 PD will immediately open fire. Engineer going to get shot at, and that PD will die before the Harbinger could, really take a lot of damage. We have a bunch of Scorchers nearby, T1 attack bombers, and that Harbinger is not going to be long for this world. Tries to get a T2 Mechs, does get one T2 Mechs, and that will be it, but I feel like that is worth the cost of a T2 Mechs. Oh, a couple of ASF are nearby, but a Titan will be able to finish off that Harbinger before the shield can regen. And 400 SOAD hip mass versus all the mass it killed definitely was a net positive for mass cost, but it won't take super long to rebuild that T2 mech. So was it worth it? Maybe, but it'll have to be a thing for later. It does look like Psycho Ad has lost one of his shield facility. Maybe that was his only shield facility. But a ton of volcanoes here being able to shave off all of those incoming missiles. Of course, the Viper missiles, they split. So when they get hit, they split off into multiple different sections, so it's harder to deal with them. The Vipers are actually a pretty good choice against T2 TMD from the Aeon. But we see a T3 Harbinger. It looks like it was doing a very similar thing that happened earlier on. There's the transport from Team 1. And it's going to take out 4 T2 Mechs here at 18 minutes. And really, there's nothing else nearby. There's one Harbinger waiting to get on board of that chariot. But now all those engineers are going to be killed off as well. That is definitely a loss here. Harbinger gets pinged saying, hey, there's a Harbinger here. You should probably take that out. But it's a 5-star veterancy Harbinger versus a no-star veterancy Harbinger. And that Harbinger here for Team 1 will definitely win that engagement. Of course, you can see 2400 versus the one from him. And he's actually I didn't know you could do this. You can actually reclaim and fire at the same time. That's a decent amount of mass to just steal from your opponent. Not only is he going to get the mass from the mechs itself, but we'll be able to soak up. So he killed mass, he stole mass, and he just said, nope. We do see another transport out from Team 2. Looks like it is, again, a similar strategy with that Harbinger. Don't know if it's going to get a lot of work done, though. Team 2 is doing a lot of that strategy of just, like, throwing a couple of engineers or a couple of, stuff on a chariot, which is fine because it's a good strategy. for right now. It's taken out a couple of things, and even Team 1 used it. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. But this game's kind of been a little bit of a slow burn so far. T2 Dragonfly running around the map here for Team 1. Looks like they dropped off some bricks, and those bricks are going to force back the upper plateau section. There are some T1 PD being spammed up as quickly as possible, and some Harbingers as well to assist with dealing with those bricks. But 1 Harbinger versus 3 bricks definitely will side with the bricks in that regard. The PD is about to finish, but it doesn't even matter because before it can even get a shot off, it is killed off. And again, 1 Harbinger versus 3 bricks, definitely not the engagement you really want. The brick drops into the yellow, but that's really about it. Only 1 person has died so far at 20 minutes in this game, and it's for Team 2. Team 1 at 5 players left. Team 2 at 4 players left. Mass per seconds. Team 1 starting to eke out a little bit more. About 920 versus 870 for about 50 so mass ahead of their opponents. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to win. Hit that sub button, hit that like button, hit the comment button, hit the share button, hit all the buttons. Again, let me know how you feel about the game so far. It's been a little bit slow. There's not a whole lot of action. There's a lot of kind of small strategic plays, which are kind of nice. You know, when you get big flashy plays, sometimes it's all you think the game is about and whatnot. But, you know, sometimes it's all about those little, like, oh, I'll drop a couple of units here and take out 3 mass points. Then I'll drop a couple units here and take out 2 mass points. And then just slowly kind of pick away at your opponent's eco. And if your opponent has no eco, they can't build any units. They can't build any units. They can't defend. They can't defend. You're going to run right over them. So that's kind of the way that I think about it is if your opponent has no eco, your opponent can't do anything. So we do see a couple of facilities being control K'd, probably to get fully ringed or some more mass per second. You got to, you know, start conserving what you got because, you know, I mean, this would be nice to have T2 mechs. 2 T2 mechs is just reducing the cost of units, but you really want the fully ringed facilities. Of course, you're going to go T3s. That makes a huge difference. So it's, I don't know. And this facility isn't really a huge, huge vital resource. This one up front, the T3 one, definitely the vital one. He's going for trebuchets. T3 mobile artillery trying to, you know, really shake up the lines on the front line here for Yoji. And the attacks on the west have kind of petered out. We do see a couple of restorers going after T1 mechs as well. So again, these are all T1 mechs. They're 2 mass a second. They pay back themselves very quickly. You invest in T2, I think it's like 2 minutes, and then T3 is 4 minutes, something like that. Maybe it's 3.5. I can't remember. I do remember the values at some point. But it does look like Team 1 has vacated Team 2. A couple of transports are inbound. It does look like Team 2's Bling Shield really wants this facility, really wants that position. A lot of interceptors flying over the top to go after those transports, but a lot of Team 1 units. A couple of T3 Titans, but that is it. They could easily swarm the comm here, and they're not going to. They're going to focus on everything else. Move these units in, Team 1's Nuke Dragoon. You can kill that comm. The comm is very, very exposed here. There's a lot of firepower here. The T3 Titans are down. I know you probably wanted to kill off the units, but this is it's so devastating. You could easily swarm the comm and kill them. Bling Shield is retreating as we speak, and T1 units now move in, but I feel like it's a little too late now. The Harbingers are around. We see some, I think, artillery fire actually firing. Oh, yeah, there's some demolishers back there. Demolishers have come into range. Bling Shield still alive, surprisingly. Only has the sensor package on board, so he's able to see a ton of the map. Well, it's a lot of vision. It's a lot of vision. And all those units moved north, trying to cover the approach of those Titans. But unfortunately, you could have killed a comm off, and especially the highest rated comm on Team 2. That was definitely a missed opportunity here for Noob Dragoon. Just, I just looked at it like the amount of firepower he had could have killed the comm. Yeah, he would have lost all his T1 units, but that's a comm kill. Like that, it's now 23 minutes. Yeah, you would funnel it into Psycho adds eco, but you took out a player on the west, you took a player out on the east, and you could focus directly on the middle. So definitely a missed opportunity there. And Team 2 has now pushed the middle and gone north. We do see a Colossus going to force them back, and we see a Colossus coming on its way for Team 2's Psycho Ad as well. So both players using those T4 experimental units to their advantage. Harbingers are fleeing in the face of that laser and suction cannon arm ability. Those things are very, very annoying. There's one Harbinger still up top, and for Team 2, Psycho Ad, and there are some more for Bling Chill as well. But it does look like this upper plateau is essentially just going to be just there. We do see a couple of bricks back here. Those look like that transport dropped them off. We have chariots running around the map dropping off one Harbingers at a time, which is, again, a very interesting strategy because usually, like, I don't even remember that there's T1 transports out from the Aeon, and they can pick up a T3 unit like the Harbinger, so definitely good use of faction advantage and characteristics there from Team 2 and Team 1. I saw Team 1 do it, but Team 2 is doing it a lot more. Boss is going to keep charging forward against all those Harbingers. There's one Oblivion PD here that's not a lot of firepower. Again, something's better than nothing. The Harbingers, what's really going to kill them off is not necessarily the laser cannon on the eye, but it's going to be the suction arm, because you essentially crush them in your hands, drop them to the ground, they die, and then you pick up the next one. But with a Colossus inbound hit for Team 2, that mass from that Colossus will stay on Team 2's side of the map. It's not necessarily a mass... Well, it is a mass dump, actually, by namesake. And now that the Colossus is dead, Harbingers are... How many going to die to the crash damage? 2? 2's not bad. Horde or squadron of gunships running around the map here for Team 2's Corbin. Team 1 needs to be aware of that. Does look like it's pretty comparable with ASF counts, but the Restore count definitely is going to add a decent amount of firepower to that Air Force here for Team 2's Corbin. Team 1 probably needs to do something else about that. Lots of different positioned air facilities. I love this. It's super decentralized. He has a nice column of... This isn't the best idea, but just a nice column of some mass points. Some mass fabs with some PGens. I would love to see like a shield like this one here, like right here, just to kind of protect them, because that's easily a chain reaction waiting to happen, and having some sort of shielding is better than nothing. And now that Colossus is going westward, it's going to face off against a Monkey, which... Monkey versus Colossus, not going to be a fair fight for that Monkey. But if that Monkey has enough support, it might be. But there's only a couple of bricks here. There's also a lot of Harbingers coming out from Team 2's clinch as well. Both of the middle players are just funneling all of their units this way. I would like to see transfer of control of these units over to one of the two players so somebody else can focus on something else. But, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But it's more of a you're in the moment. You're thinking about 20 different things. That's kind of the last thing on your mind. I forget about it too. They're not the only one. Nice air grid here. So again, we can see the different strategy, which is one air grid essentially versus a very decentralized, very segmented air grid. It does lead to different strategies. You can get the PGen cost down a little bit because you're not building tons of PGens, but you also don't have to worry about cascade. So that's a nice thing. If you shield, it usually takes less shielding to protect that as well, because you can put a shield and it can cover a couple more facilities. You're not worried about adjacency and the different sizes of the structures, that sort of thing. ASFs are coming in for Team 2. Where are the ASFs for Team 1? Well, they are gone. Looks like they were taken out earlier on. Definitely not a great position here for Team 1 to be in. And the Colossus isn't going to keep going north. It's actually going to go south to avoid the two Colossus two experimentals that are in there, one of them being a Colossus. And Yoji is going to feel the wrath of that. Transport's being sucked up by that. The Colossus love to see that. As long as the comm doesn't go on the transport, he won't die off. A couple of Ravagers and some T2 Triads are being spammed up. Team 1 Bombers still on the cards here, trying to throw this... Colossus away. The Monkey has taken a significant amount of damage. The Restorers have done a decent job, but the AA guns on that Monkey Lord are going to be probably just enough to finish off most of those Restorers. T2 Pigeons going up in smoke. Ravagers running into that thing. And now the Monkey Lord will get into range. The Colossus does turn around to fight the Monkey Lord. Will the Colossus get enough efficiency off the Monkey Lord to make it worth it? Colossus gets it just at the nick of time, but unfortunately it's dead anyways. I guess that's better than nothing. And now Team 2 has opened a huge hole in Team 1's front line and taken a lot of infrastructure away from Yoji. He is definitely suffering in here this game. Very weakened now. Team 2 could easily move. Not easily, but at least more more easily, I guess would be the better way to put it, push in on this western side. They've claimed most of the southwest corner. There's a couple of T1 PD, but there's not really a whole lot to deal with, and more trebuchets, not demol. I feel like trebuchets should be UEF and demolishers should be Cybran, but anyway. Don't know why it should be that way. I just feel like it is. Flip those two names a lot, but now we see T3 Percys and Titans versing off against those Harbingers, but there's just so many more Harbingers here, and they're under some shield coverage as well, which makes the first shot of the Percy kind of just null and void. Team 1's Noob Dragoon is really suffering here on this eastern side. He needs to fight back in a different way, and more Percys. Harbingers are lining this upper plateau, and we have Percys. I keep saying Percys. Harbingers inbound. Team 2 does not have access to UEF tech, so they do not have access to Percys. A couple of Harbingers do get dropped off. More of them are inbound. The Calm of Nuke Dragoon could just go out there and meet them. He doesn't have gun on board. There is a Fat Boy online, though, and that will definitely throw these units kind of in disarray, forcing them back at least a little bit. More and more transport going off to that eastern side. He's protecting his base with a decent amount of PD, but his shields are starting to fall due to the T3 Serenity fire. A lot of bombs on Team 2 doing that T3 artillery push with not with stationary artillery, but with mobile artillery. Static, I should say. Not stationary, static, kind of the same thing. Essentially the same word. More air grid being built here. It doesn't look like it's going to stop for a little bit. He is going for shields. I love that. He's going for shields now before artillery comes in from Team 1, because somebody's going to build artillery at some point. It's just going to be a thing. Unless there was a gentleman's agreement earlier on, it's just going to happen. We see Rascoms being gated in by Team 1 to try to, ratchet up the eco. The ASFs were built very quickly here, but there's still so many more for Team 2. Restorers are being built up in numbers once again, and another group of them. I love this. Not having all of your restorers in one ball means you can kind of move them around the map a lot more independently. We have 3 Colossus in the middle for Team 2 and 2 for Team 1. They are under shield coverage, but unfortunately the Colossus, it only really covers most of the body, doesn't cover all of it. And now they're just going to push against the Colossus here to the north. And there's not really a lot of other stationary static defenses as well. So Team 2 looks like they might be being led on. There is a Crab, and it's going to move into the eastern position as well. But those Colossus are catching up to those other units because they are single file along the edge of that plateau. The Colossus are going to turn around, but unfortunately, there's a lot of incoming T3 units as well assisting them, and then it's not going to go well here. It's brother versus brother, laser versus laser, but these two Colossus are a little bit further back, allowing the yellow Colossus here for Team 1 to be able to actually not hit the wrong button there. That is the right button. I was going to take a screenshot of this. Upside down Harbinger here. It's always fun to watch that. Crab should be coming into range pretty soon, but unfortunately it's not going to get here when it wants to. That first Colossus is not down still for Team 2, which means this second Colossus for Team 1 is really struggling. There is now a new one online, though. So now it's going to be 3v3, but they've already engaged a 2v1. And it's definitely going to side with Team 2 for the time being until that crab comes into range. Team 2 will win that fight pretty easily. Restorers trying to push on the land side of things. The Fat Boy holding off the Harbingers on the upper plateau. Can't really do a whole lot up there, to be fair, but they're holding him off. Team 1's Yoji still has some sort of facility over here, but these Medusa, those look like they're able to take it out. There it goes. I was giving it for some dramatic pause and seeing if that facility would go offline. The Colossus, the very severely weak one. This one gets a ranking veterancy because it did contribute to the death of that one. But the Crab is now pushing back both Colossi here in the eastern section of the middle. And the Restorer Ball is inbound. There's not a lot of AA in this mix, and so those Restorers will definitely be able to just easily pick off those Cougars. They're going to go after anything and everything first. The shield's going to go down. They should just easily go after those AA emplacements. The Restorers will retreat. The ASS for Team 2 will try to push in and intercept, but not really going to do well. It's going to be a lot of back and forth here. It's going to be an air fight regardless of what happens. And so now the radar system goes down. That's a very good move here by the air player for Corbin, denying Team 1 the intelligence. One Colossus goes down. The second Colossus will go down here pretty shortly. T3 Mechs will die as well, but that's a lot of mass here. Harbingers are already on station to start scooping some of that up. But the Restorers in the east are ripping anything and everything to shreds. We see T3 SAM sites here for Team 1's Nuke Dragoon trying to take out those outlying restorers that kind of wander into its field of range or field of fire. SMD online here in the middle of the base for Team 1. Should be similar, yep, for Team 2. Actually, there's multiple of them. Versus having a communal one, they're each you have one on the east. Better coverage. But this Fat Boy is going to suffer a lot of firepower, and the ASFs are forced to go in. Just fully commit at this point. You've already pushed in. You don't want to lose more ASFs. You want to at least take out the gunships. And those ASFs are fighting one another. There is some SAM coverage nearby, so some of those ASFs from Team 2 will die off to that. And now that the restorers are gone, both ASF groups will fully commit to the engagement and fully commit to one another. And now, unfortunately, this does reside with Team 2 getting the better end of the deal here. Some ASFs do stay alive here for Team 1, but air control is now firmly in the hands of Team 2. All his restorers are down for now, but I wouldn't be surprised he's going to build more later on. We do see, again, more and more trebuchets, just not trebuchets, these are Serenities, just launching that artillery fire here against Team 1's Nuke Dragoon. There is a Fat Boy inbound, though, so an interesting test would be, this is the yellow is the range for the Fat Boy. And let's see, this is Wind Chill. That is the range. So it does look like the Fat Boy be able to outrange it just slightly, it looks like. It's kind of hard because they're both not moving, so it's hard to judge the radius range. 90 versus the Fat Boy. I guess I can do it that way. Nuke Dragoon, Fat Boy. Of 100, it looks like. Which just barely outranges those artillery, and it will force them back, especially with a second one up here and a crab going to start shooting them from the upper plateau section. Another high ground scenario happening here for Team 1. There is a lot of fire coming off of those absolvers, though. Those shield disruptors. I don't know if they do a lot of damage versus regular non-shielded targets. But I was surprised they do a couple of hit points of damage. It would make sense if they did none. Fat Boy in the west now here for Team 1's Yoji as well. There are, again, now trebuchets in the west. So again, Team 2 kind of opting for the T3 mobile artillery game versus Team 1 operating for the T4 mobile artillery game. A lot of mobile artillery here in this game. Anything and everything is on the table here. I don't see any sort of emissary or disruptor, shield disruptor online here for Team 2. Oh, speaking of which, never mind. Emissary is almost done here for Clinch. That is the first T3 artillery built probably in this game, unless Team 1 has one, and I didn't even notice. That boy is being produced in the west. Crab in the middle. There is a Duke coming online here for Team 1. Does look like Signal Runner might be starting to funnel some resources into that project. And I don't see any movement on the north here for Nuke Dragoon or for Fervor. Fur? Maybe it's Fervor. I keep saying Fervor with an V, but maybe it's Fur. Really hard to pronounce, though. I apologize if I pronounce your name incorrectly. Some names are really easy, some names are not, and some names are very simple, like Fervor with a V, the Fur, which maybe is where that name comes from. Anyway, we see a crab just taking a lot of artillery fire. 3 Colossus with a crab versus 3 Colossus with no crab, but a bunch of T2 artillery. Team 2 wants Team 1 to engage on their side of the map, so they're going to try to just goad them into moving. I don't know if that's going to be the case, though. I feel like both teams are kind of aware that that's probably not the best idea, and now those Fat Boys are really just giving in here to Clinch here on the eastern side. Lots of Serenities were taken out. Those trebuchets are being pushed back once again. I think they were all eliminated for the most part. And now the Fat Boy in the west, definitely going to help push Yoji to the south. Restorers are inbound probably for that Fat Boy. And the emissary is online and firing. And it is targeting the air grid most likely here for Team 1. It is very exposed. It's not going to get a lot of cascading. That's definitely a benefit here for Khalsa. But unfortunately here, that artillery is going to just rip through that air grid very quickly. Takes out a T3 Mechs. Shields now going to be built anywhere and everywhere they can. T3 air facility H quarters definitely is the main target here. Okay, good. You're shielding the mass fabs. Oh, that shot barely misses that T3 air facility. Shields are being built very slowly, though. The Duke does stop because he wants to finish the shields, or they want to finish the shields, but I don't blame him. Artillery landing. Oh, there goes a Pigeon. The hit points on that T3 air headquarters are going down. He needs a shield sooner rather than later. Corbin says kill. Yeah, kill the mass fab farm. Oh, right on top of that. Oh, T3 air facility drops below. I think it was like 100 hit points. That was not a lot of hit points. That was a direct shot. Good shot by that emissary. First shield is online. Will impact the shields. Take out a T3 facility. Second shield is online. More shields are popping up. This one's about to finish. This is the main facility that needs to be protected, though. I want to see if this falls by artillery fire, and then we'll check out anything else. Once the shield is built around it, then I'm not super worried about it. The shield down here is going to be built. Shield over here is going to be built. Another shield is being built. All shields and every shield is being built around this. And that is the benefit here of doing it very segmented. One shield, T3 shield, can cover most of it. And it does look like the artillery is firing at something else. It's firing up here now. Those look like that T3 air headquarters will be fine. The Monkey Lord on this ridge line is being taken out. That loyalist is down here. It's funny, there's just one unit. So that was on purpose. It does look like he did that on purpose to just annoy the PD. Now the Crab is pushing back the dual Fat Boys, but the Fat Boys are just leading the Bricks and Harbingers to their deaths. Because they come into range, they get shot by the Fat Boys on their approach, and then get shot by the Percys. And by that point, most of their hit points are already gone. We do see more units being thrown up here by both teams, trying to just claim the territory. The more important section of the plateau is owned by Team 2 and will stay owned by Team 2 for probably a long time. Same thing here in the west. There's one facility that, one mechs that could be built, but looks like, again, those comms are distracted by other things. Emissary now going to start targeting the Duke. Now that the Duke's online, the second Duke going to be built. More shields need to be thrown for this Duke. Same thing here for the Emissary. I don't care how many shields you have. You have the standard 4 shield array, which is good. Like, it's good to have those 4. You need 30 more. But Clinch, what he's doing very nicely here is he's saying, oh, I'm not just going to do the extension that what the Duke is doing, where, you save a couple of P-Gen construction by just kind of sharing them. What you're able to do is just go, oh, I'll just build it over here. And so even if the shots land or the main target is this, they're not going to be a cascade into the other artillery. So I do love that move. I do see artillery now landing on the air grid for Team 2's Corbin. And it does look like the Emissary is still focused on that air facility over here. The shields are falling, though, as the Emissary does do a decent job of taking out shields. E1 PD being spammed up, though, to protect this investment here for Team 1. 2 comms are hiding underneath the shields, with Signal Runner doing a decent job of building more shields around himself and his teammate. 5 Colossus here on that upper plateau, and more being built. 4 Colossus built for Team 2 and an SMD, which an SMD that far forward usually indicates that somebody's thinking about a nuke, either on Team 1 or Team 2. And a nuke, look at that, a nuke is being built by Team 2. It's by Psychoad. So usually when you see that kind of very forward SMD, it's usually because somebody's thinking about it. We have a Crab on the ridgeline watching as his rogue brother gets destroyed by Fat Boy fire. There's another Crab down here. It's severely wounded. Does have a rank of veterancy, though, so be able to wrap up a little bit faster than normal. 2 Fat Boys are pumping out T3 units. These are T2, but he is pumping out Titans as well. No, Percys. Percys and Cougars or Skyboxers for defense against air, especially against those horde of Restorers. Lots of ASS for both teams. We'll probably see an air fight here sooner rather than later. But the Emissary still targeting those Dukes. The second Duke needs to finish. More shields need to be built. Assistance is going down here for the main shield covering the comms and the 2 Dukes, but only 2 T3 shields. You need more of them. You see the shield fell here. They're assisting the shield now. Another shield is built surrounding those 2 artillery. It does look like the T3 air facility was eventually taken out, which means no more T3 ASFs are being built, and the RAS, I keep saying RAS, the Mass Fab Farm is taken out as well. So Team 1's Khalsa did take a huge chunk in hit point loss there. Not hit point, mass generation. I don't know what my brain's doing today for some reason. In the West, it is a Saturday, maybe it's just tired from work and whatnot. A couple of bricks with a deceiver helping to assist deceiving the opponent. We have a couple of Fat Boys are in range. At least now one is in range. You see a Colossus now in the south here being brought in by Psycho Ad, trying to throw its laser against all of these T1 engineer spam. A couple of Triads as well on the front line, but a newly minted Megalith is moving forward, and a nuke is being launched. It's actually being launched by Team 1. That would also explain the SMD in the middle. This nuke will launch, and where is it going? If it's going for those Colossus, it is going to fail because the SMD is not loaded. First nuke of the game, 42 minutes in the game. Restores are kind of far forward. It does look like the ASS will engage. The ASS will shoot through those restores, and the ASF fight will commence. And those restorers are just eaten up. The SMD is gone. Kaboom! The Colossus do get out of range, but now the central position is gone, and that has now prompted the Colossus in the middle to push forward. The ASF still aren't enough for Team 1 to push out Team 2's air control, and now without a T3 air facility, or headquarters at least, they won't be able to produce anymore, at least for the time being. Some ASFs were dropped back, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. Shields are falling around the two comms, and the second Duke is coming online. Is Team 2 building a third one? Yes, they will be pretty soon. Love how the T3 air facility headquarters is not even protected. What is this? Building some SMD back here. Secondary SMD nuke launcher is about to finish loading its first nuke. The Team 2 will have its own nuclear hellfire to throw at their opponent. And they'll probably throw it either here or maybe even back here. The SMD is loaded. Oh, and the shields around the Dukes are falling. Oh, shield pops back online just in time to save that stealth field, but I don't think it's going to do much because Team 2 knows where they are. They won't see where any of the units are specifically, but Kalsa takes a huge chunk in hit points though. And the two Dukes are online, but I don't know if the two Dukes are going to be enough to punch through those shields. Even more shields around the primary artillery. And the nuke... I thought I heard a nuke.
Strategic launch.
Oh, there it is. I was like, I thought I heard a nuke coming out. Actually, nuke's going to the west for those Fat Boys. And the western front might get a nice big hole in it for this crab to push through. But the Colossus didn't work. The other crabs didn't work. And I think one Fat Boy will be killed off if this one does not move. The move order is commencing. There it goes. I was wondering why it wasn't moving. But the nuke is inbound. That Fat Boy will die anyways. Unfortunately, it didn't move out of time. I like how there's just a monkey lord hanging out. A lot of dead planes there. Fat Boy is gone. These two Fat Boys are still alive. This will prompt the Megalith and other assisting units to push forward. The Fat Boys will immediately retreat. 5-star Fat Boy, 0-star Fat Boy. I'm assuming that was probably a 5-star Fat Boy as well. Still in the northeast. Not really a lot of things happening one way or the other. We have a nano combatant preset. 300 hit points a second on that SACU. That is a ton of hit points. Losing a lot of hit points due to miasma fire, but still 300 hit points a second regen is a ton. And Colossus are just being built in lines here by Team 1. The second nuke is half loaded, has 4-star veterancy on that thing. This one has 2, but it is a little bit over half loaded as well, which means it's loading faster than their opponents. Colossus fight Colossus. They do lose the fight to Team 1, and the Colossus will now push forward. The Restorers will move in and assist, but a lot of AA is in the area, as a lot of Ascendants, and those Restorers are actually targeting the Redeemers first. They're being chewed to shreds by those T2 Ascendants, and a lot of ASF coverage will try to just soak up a lot of that damage, but it's not going to do a whole lot, unfortunately, here. The Colossus will keep pushing forward, and honestly, down here, there's really nothing to defend, and I'm assuming those Colossus are actually on a move order. Interesting, it's moving to the west, not straight for this artillery base. Very interesting. There are some Oblivion turrets nearby, and they are building their own Colossus for defense. Those look like those AA need to keep moving to take out those bombers. Those bombers will be able to take out at least 2 of those Colossus by the time they get their, get to where they're going. Team 1's going to watch out for that. Does look like the Dukes were taken out, unfortunately, by the Emissary fire. Emissaries are just, honestly, they're better than Dukes. They just are. Still, Team 1's call sign has not rebuilt his, her, they, them, whatever they're named. T3 air headquarters, and now their air grid is being just ripped to shreds. The nuke for Team 1's player of Fervor is almost, oh, it's 2/3 loaded. The nuke for Team 2 is already almost loaded. And those Colossus are now given the move order to go straight for the artillery. And as I mentioned earlier, where the AA is a little bit behind, those restorers are going to help those bombers do a decent amount of work. One Colossus is being constructed. I don't know if this one Colossus will be enough, though. It needs to keep moving. The nuke has been launched, and it is going in, I don't know where it's going. It's going over here to the east, it looks like. Fat Boy not moving. 2 Fat Boys will die to that nuclear fire. And the Colossus to the north is being attacked from behind by a bunch of Brascoms, and there's a Colossus trying to catch up with it. More experimentals are leaking through the middle. The second Colossus is down, but this one isn't moving. It could take out the emissary. It's pretty close in range, but the SMD is going to go down. That was the target, and honestly, that's probably the better target. Pigeon's going to go down as well. T3 land facility going to go down here for Clinch. He can't produce any more T3 units. Oh, no, if the laser doesn't keep engaging. Why isn't the laser engaging? Why isn't it engaging? Will the crash damage killed? That was weird. It wasn't a laser. It was focused on something else. Will the T3 land facility be taken out? Yes, it will be. And this nuke, I feel like, is going to go right about here. It should take out all 3 of those emissaries. And now the nuke is the primary target. That nuke needs to load very, 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 very quickly if they want to take out those emissaries. The emissary is still firing on the Duke. The Duke has been rebuilt and is now locking onto its next target. Team 2's artillery has been focused on that the entire game. SMD immediately built and immediately being loaded. That Apocalypse might finish off, and it's going to nuke immediately, it looks like. Where is it positioned exactly? Well, it's pretty much right where I said it would go. A little bit further to that other field emitter. But we have some experimentals in the middle just being the unfortunate recipients of a bunch of air fire, bombs, and fire from those gunships. Blink Shield going for T3 upgrade. Has advanced shield, so he has, or heavy shield, with 25 additional hit point, 25,000 additional hit points in terms of shield capacity on that comm. And those experimentals are being ripped to shreds. 2 more Colossus are inbound. Needs more AA. We have Chariots immediately wiped off the face of the map. They never existed. The nuke is going to launch, and it is going here. The SMD will not finish in time, unfortunately, with all the assistance. The Duke is primarily focused on that just to ensure that it does not get finished. The Duke for Team 1 is still facing a lot of firepower.
Strategic launch
But the
detected.
shields, it's still collapsing around him. Kalsa is severely wounded still, repping up pretty quickly. But there goes the nuke. The nuke is outbound. Team 2's own nuke launcher almost about to be finished loading for a 3rd time. And does not look good here for Team 2. The assistance still going on. They're hoping that it finishes in time. Unfortunately, these shields are starting to collapse a little bit around that eastern artillery, though. I do not think that it will finish in time. There is the nuke. It is inbound. The SMD nowhere near finished. And there it goes. How much will go up in smoke? Boom! Takes out everything. All those shields. Takes out both of the primary artillery. This one being built took a significant amount of damage. Pigeons almost killed off to kill this one off as well. That just hurts. So Team 2 has lost their artillery battery. They still have their nuke, which they just finished launching, and it's going to the west once again. Going to go for a lot of engineers. We have a Crab and 2 Fat Boys, and we do have a Soul Ripper over here, very interestingly, for some gunship support, because Team 2 does own the air, to be fair, so they can't just pressure anything and everything, though. Restorers are inbound for that nuke launcher. A lot of AA is around it in terms of mobile, but those gunships are going to take out that nuke launcher once and for all. Been very annoying here for Team 2, and it is going to die today. Nuke launcher is going to actually target the SMD. That was probably the better target to ensure that the nuke launcher is killed off eventually. But I don't think it's long for this world. This base here for Team 1's Fervor is going to go down. The Calm is nearby. They're targeting the Pigeons for mass casualties, mass damage. There goes the Pigeon. Gets reclaimed though, so the explosion doesn't happen. Team 2 has suffered a ton of casualties in the Air Force Department. Team 1 might have an opportunity to come back in that game if they got... Okay, they built it. Okay. But the Duke is online. They need to find the nuke launcher, essentially, which for Team 2, they... is Team 2. For Team 1, they don't know it's there. So, they might assume with the amount of support there. But a donut to the west, they take out a Crab and a Fat Boy, but there's still a Crab online. The Soul Ripper will be taken out as well. It's just kind of hanging out there. A lot of experimental deaths in this game. We have 480, almost a 500,000 mass on the field at 50 minutes in this game. The game is not stopping anytime soon. It was a little bit slow. People were eking a little bit more. People were a little bit cautious. But now the artillery is focused on the air grid. Taking out the T3 air headquarters is definitely the primary goal of that Duke. And one more shot will take it out. And that will stop the production of any T3 air forces for the time being. And that nuke from Team 2 will land in Team 1's base. Let's see. Oh, down here. And it is already half loaded. It's killed off 54,000 mass. This nuke launcher here for Team 1 has killed off 340,000 mass. And honestly, it might be able to eke out one more nuke before it's killed off. Spy plane's getting a nice readout. We have one emissary now online for Team 2. It's coming out from the east. And the SMD over here is loaded, has 3 loaded, so it's not really worried about that. Emissary down here got a little bit more built up, but it's going to stop for the time being. The invasion by Yoji in the west is continuing to pressure Team 2 in the west. In the east, counter invasion is occurring. Unfortunately, it's not really going as much as they would like it with a bunch of Percys, but 3 Colossus to soak up all of that incoming fire. Percy in the ground. There's a Percy inside the ground. The Percy is getting a very interesting experience when you fall through the map. Kind of, it's all void. Percy fire opening up, taking out a ton of hit points on those Colossus. The Fat Boy needs to get out of range. The Fat Boy is definitely the target that the Percys start to force the Colossus back. A new Colossus will come and relieve the old ones, but the old ones, 2 of them are already down. Lots of Team 1 spam inbound from these fervor fire as well. Those ones are down. Lots of Percys. There's even some T3 Rambo comms in there. The nuke will launch into Team 1's base, but the nuke for Team 2, you've got to get out of there, Fervor. You got to launch the nuke. You got to launch it. The nuke is inbound to you. Unless there's an SMD somewhere I don't know about. That nuke is going to kill off your nuke, and you're going to feel really bad when a nuke kills a nuke. You got to launch it. Oh, it's so disappointing. The nuke is coming in closer. You got to launch it now. You've got to launch it now. Okay, it's going to nuke. There it goes. The nuke does escape. Fervor will die, I feel like, in this nuking. There it goes. The nuke is launched. Team 2's nuke comes in, takes out the T3 air facility, kills the comm, but the nuke is outbound. So at least with his final breath, he does fire off one final nuke, and now it is a 4v4 tie game here at 53 minutes in this game. Where does that nuke go? It goes down south. It's going to kill a couple of facilities off, but not really a whole lot. Does look like there's more assistance going on to that emissary in the west. There is one artillery still online for Team 2. Second one about to finish for Korriban. Half of his air grid is down. His T3 air facility is down. His headquarters, I keep saying T3 air. T3 headquarters is down. The Duke, oh, the shields are down. Oh, it's going to hurt. Oh, it's underneath the shields, and there goes one of the Dukes. Immediately killed off. Now a lot of assistance from those drones are going to go to that one singular shield. That has got to hurt. Team 2, the nuke lands, kaboom, takes out those T3 mexes. This nuke has killed off 200. Still has not killed off the 340,000 mass that Team 1's did, but still has been very solid in taking stuff out. The shields are starting to collapse a little bit around that emissary, but now with 2 of them online, I feel like that one Duke will not be enough firepower to penetrate those shields. Spam Mega says Fervor, do Signal Runner. A bunch of Fat Boys still online. 54 minutes in this game. Team 2 at 3.4k thousand mass versus Team 1's 1.6. Is that reclaim related or is that actual mass per second? Let's see. We got 600 mass or so for some reclaim. 50. No, that's pretty much accurate. That's a lot of mass. Let's just be. Where is it all coming from now? A lot of it's coming from Blink. Is it just all of the Rascoms? Like each one does produce 11 mass. He doesn't have that many on the field. Oh, Blink Chill. I'm looking at the wrong player. He has 39. Okay, that's 39 times 11. That's a decent amount. And then for Blink Chill, he has 50. Okay, that's what. Okay, that one makes a little more sense. That nuke would be very. They're just sitting there building a bunch of Colossus, but they're throwing a lot of mass on the front lines. This position has been taken out. We have T2 Miasma nearby, being able to target those Fat Boys. There's a bunch of Clean Cameras that are still alive, just barely though. They're not in range though. Well, no, they're firing. It just takes longer because of the regen. But Signal Runner went forward, going to use his laser to go after that Colossus. The Colossus trying to just ground fire him. That Colossus is taken out by Signal Runner. 38,000 mass on that Commander. Lots of dead Colossus here in this game. If you're not a fan of Colossus, you'll be a fan of this game just because there's so many of them wrecks, so many of their wrecks on the map. Those look like the Duke did take some fire. Also has revved up back to full HP. And it's looking very dire here. Shields need to start assisting here, coming from Signal Runner to just start circling anything and everything. More emissary fire is landing all the time, but more shields are being built by Corb. And does look like Team 1 has a satellite on board. So that'll help taking out some mass points here for Team 1. And the Yoji push is still occurring. A bunch of just everything is being thrown at the front line. Grab is the last line of defense, essentially. There's a couple of bricks, but that's not going to do a whole lot. The bug led into the west, and Team 2 is reclaiming that. Getting their mass back. Lots of restores are on the way, and the ASF are not enough, I feel like. They'll be able to chew through those ASF pretty much in no time. There is some AA units in the form of those Redeemers going to chew through those restores, though. There are more on board. The ASFs are being reduced pretty quickly, though. We have some ASFs from Team 2's air player as well. That group of restores is essentially gone. There are a couple more restores coming in as well. We have some AA as well coming after those ASFs. Essentially, it's just air is not dead, but it's just kind of just there now. Another nuke is launching. It's going for this position. The Fat Boys, if they don't move, both of them will be killed off. But I feel like at this point, they should still be moving, but they're not. So those Fat Boys will be killed off. But Team 1, Yoji, has done a significant amount of work pushing on that western side. Since the death of Forik, he's really done a decent job. It's taken him a while to get here, but he got here nonetheless. Fat Boys are dead. Sorry about that, Yoji. And a couple of Cougars as well. That's gotta hurt. But he's done the main job. There are now units coming into this emissary position. T2 Oblivion's going to be spammed up to help defend that position. But there's some Percys in that mix. There's some Team 1 Lobos in that mix. Some of those Lobos, some of those units have 5-star Percy, 30 hit points a second. I don't think I've ever seen a 5-star Percy. I might have, but I've never seen a lot of them. How is that Duke doing? The Duke is still online. They're now using the tried and trusted Continental patrol matter and dealing with that. We have one Rascom trying to hold off those Percys that are inbound. Multiple comms are now throwing out units and mass to try to stop this push. There's another emissary. If Team 2 loses it, it's not a huge deal, but it's still a loss. But it does look like there's enough support coming out of Team 2 to be able to stop this push. The emissaries look like they're fine. The satellite looks like it is still going through. Actually, there's 2 of them now. They're multiplying. Oh, Team 1 spam is inbound around the shields. A couple of the shields do go down. Lobo fire, is it going to be enough? Oh, it's barely not enough. That Pigeon was the last one that was needed to take out both of these. Good job here by Team 1, but it just could not seal the deal. And now this western side is definitely a lot more protected, or at least the pressure is relieved. The second artillery still is back online here for Khalsa. And now the emissary fire is focused on the shields, not the shields, the shields for these satellites. Satellites are now the prime target for those emissaries. They don't like the mass assassination that's going on from Yoji. Don't blame them. And I feel like at this point, I feel like I can speed it up probably just with 1. Because essentially most of the pressure in the west is petered out. It's an artillery war. The east push is essentially kind of petered out. There's a decent amount. There's a lot of shields. That's a lot of shields. And Corbin gets defeated by Khalsa. Looks like Duke Fire was able to land and take out the comm. Very interesting there. That's kind of unfortunate here for Corbin. And now everything will be transferred over to Blinchill, and he'll now get a decent amount more mass into his pockets. He'll transfer over that to Psychoad, as he's focused on the eastern front. And now it is a 4v3 in favor of Team 2. Did not see that coming. And now we have the march of the Colossus once again here. 59 minutes in this game, almost on the hour mark. The amount of shields is ridiculous. Now, the mobile shields for the win. Mobile is greater than static. So many shields. That's so many. Why? Well, actually, the other question should be why not? That is so much firepower. Not firepower. So many shields. Each shield is worth 3,500 hit points. You can imagine the amount of shielding hit points. Let's just do. Hold on. Let's pause game. Pause game for a second. Pause game for a second. Let's do some math. Let's see. So we'll go to Blinchill. Let's pull. Oh, come on. I can't. Okay, fine. I'll have to slow it down very. Can't. Select. Oh, this is. Oh, there it goes. It just took a second. 104 times 3,500. That's like 300,000 health. Oh, that's like 350. No, that's like 400,000 health in shields. Because each one is 3,500. 10 of them would be 35,000. Oh no, not. Well, it'd be 350,000 plus. Yeah, not 400,000. 300, but still 350,000 health in shields is a ton of shields. And now we have Fat Boys retreating and Colossus coming in from Team 1 as well to help assist. Broadswords coming in as well. Not a lot of AA in the mix though, so those broadswords will get a lot of work done. There is a couple of black AA in the mix though. But Rascoms are going down. Maybe those were Rambo comms. A couple of Ravagers just ripping through all of those Colossus. Colossus to the west are doing a lot of work though, distracting the Colossus here for Team 2's Blinchill, but there's still more inbound, and he is not stopping. He is producing them all day, every day. Does look like one of the emissaries was eventually taken out by the Dukes, but I think the Dukes were eventually taken out. Nope, they're still online, surprisingly. Now the Dukes are focused on this position. This position's taken out. It is just collapsing here in the rear. The Nuke is still online. 2 of them are loaded. All of the emissaries are down. Team 2 has no form of artillery left standing in the mist talking about this. Now we have Continentals coming in to assist, targeting those Colossus. Colossus will die to Fat Boy and Continental Fire. So much mass on the field. We have Fat Boys being caught up to by those Colossus. We have Nukes inbound going for the northwest position. The SMD is about to load, and it might even load fast enough to prevent the Nuke from landing. It will prevent one, not 2 of them, but 1, and 1 is better than none. And we have a new freshly minted Colossus. Don't turn around. You need to keep firing that laser. We have Continentals going down everywhere. Not good to have Continentals on the ground. ASF fights, fighting ASFs in the north. Everything, it's harder to tell because the transfer of control given over. But the calm of Clinch is defeated by Yoji. And now it's just calm assassination day going on here for Team 1. Now it is a 4v2 in favor of Team 2. That's got to hurt. The calm of Clinch. Bleed Shield is still alive. He's going to produce a shield to protect himself. Just so many Colossus running through anything and everything. The Nuke was shot down. The second Nuke will not be shot down. The calm of Nuke Dragoon just gives everything over here to his teammate of Khalsa. The Dukes are firing. There's a crab on its way. One crab might be able to kill a couple of Colossus, but not all of them. That is just so many of them. Restorers coming in to deal with all of this nonsense as well. Team 2's highest rate of play of Bleed Shield is just punishing anything and everything. It does look like the Nuke may have been... the Nuke is noticed. And the shields are being not assisted, but it does look like that is the primary target now. The shield is down. The Nuke still has 1 loaded. And if the nuke does not launch, it's going to die. Oh no, the nuke dies with one loaded. That's gotta hurt. Corbin says nice. That from beyond the grave. And the comm of Noob Dragoon gets killed off by some assistance from some Colossus and by Psycho Ads. Not Colossus, but restores it. Just see Colossus. But a ton of Colossus are trying to swarm that Duke facility. And there's 3 to the north, and there's more inbound. A lot of Ravagers are being spammed up, trying to hold off. We have Colossus trying to dodge him. More and more being built all the time. That Colossus is going to die to a bunch of bullets and rounds. But Signal Runner being very, very useful here with his comm. There is no Omni, so they just know about the laser coming off of his chest. And those Colossus stop moving. It will give a couple of seconds for Team 1 to regroup. We have a couple of Rascoms being assisted for protection. We have a decent amount of those drones being killed off by the lasers. Those hit points are falling very, very quickly. 4-star veterancy on that Colossus. Colossus to the north, taking out anything up there. Those look like a lot of the attack is petering out. The artillery focusing on the comms. We have Psycho Ad building some sort of upgrade to his shields. Most likely that would be the upgrade he'd probably go with. He's not going for advanced range. It'd be a weird upgrade. But 1 Colossus remains, and Signal Runner assists with dealing with those Colossus as well. He has killed 61,000 mass on that commander. Colossus did not break through the shields, did not break through the defenses, and those Dukes are still online. Very, very big missed opportunity here for Team 2. Psycho Ad's shield has been canceled. He's trying to hide it under shield coverage, but with 3 satellites and a couple of Duke firing, I don't think it's going to last very long. Unfortunately here for Team 2's player of Psycho Ad, this game flipped upside down very quickly here. I felt like Team 2 was definitely in the driver's seat for a very long time, but between the satellite, one of them did get killed off, so you know that is a plus here for Team 2. And there is 1 emissary still firing here in the east, and now we have the satellites focusing on that, trying to at least fight back in some sort of way. It does save Psycho Ad's calm a little bit. We have another Colossus down south, and Yoji still pushing that southern section. He's been very, very, very just consistent with that. A donut is inbound, and how much mass is on the field? Because it is probably a ton. 1 million mass is currently on the field at 1 hour and 4 minutes. 1 million mass. That is a lot, and it's going up. It was not stopping. So much mass on the field. And those shields are starting to fall around that emissary. There is a shield that they would probably love to take out. A shield is a pigeon that they would love to take out. Assisting on the shield is going down. Don't put that away now. And the donut is inbound. How much will the donut kill off? It's dropping into the yellow, dropping to half its hit points. How much will it take out? If he times it right, will it crash on top of the Dukes? Oh, it takes out the shield capacity and a couple of the shields, but the Dukes are alive. They're like, hey guys, can you move this giant donut? We're trying to fire here. The 3rd Duke is online. We have more Colossus inbound. We have Signal Runner at 61,000 hit points. 61,000 mass killed. Running around and assist. Team 1 bomber spam trying to assist with dealing with this push. 2 more donuts are on their way. We have a couple of these Redeemers nearby, getting a nice amount of damage into that shield. But won't do a lot of damage, but some damage is better than none. I think the satellites are focused on other things. They should be focused. They're targeting the air grid, trying to take out the. Oh, they're trying to take out the energy capacity. 49,000. No, it's going to be a lot of pigeons. Take out for that. And here come those Tsar. They are inbound. We have some ASF protection as well, and the crash is going to happen sooner rather than later. They have sonar. They do not have Omni on board. The first donut is going to collapse. Just short of that Duke. The second one, it is going to take out a lot of its shield, though. Second one will... Oh, it's in the yellow. Laser's on board. It's activating. If the initial keeps going, it's going to miss. It's going to take out a pigeon. Oh, but it doesn't take everything out. The Dukes are still alive. It's a survival game here for Team 1. 1 hour, 6 minutes in this game. The donuts were not enough. He's going to go full Colossus spam. He's spamming more Colossus to the north. Oh, it is just a huge, huge thing going on here. This game really ratcheted up very quickly. And now with the assistance of 3 Dukes, I feel like that emissary is going to go down here pretty soon. A couple of pigeons were taken out. But here they come. Signal Runner still running around the map. Is taking a lot of incoming fire, but is doing a lot of work. 88,000 mass killed. Colossus are inbound, taking out anything and everything. There's a crab to the north helping assist. A ton of Ravagers have now been built for defensive measures. And with the comms, the maser comm, the pigeons are being targeted. The Colossus goes down. The last Colossus, this one should have just went straight for it, but it did not. Fat Boy nearby coming out from Yoji. Every single comm that's still alive for Team 1 is throwing something for defense. Everything is being thrown for defense. And Colossus coming in to get those satellites, but the shield goes down just before, or right about at the same time that the Colossus is defeated. One Fat Boy was defeated. There is another Colossus inbound. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to do a whole lot of work. Emissary fire is still targeting something in the base. Team 1 has been able to scoop up a lot of mass and throw that into defenses. Team 2 will notice where the comm is. They see him. They have Omni on board those spy planes. But the mass amount of explosions has occurred, which has indicated to me that that emissary is down. That's a lot of stuff to lose. Team 1 only has less than 800 mass a second. And the shields are still trying to hold on, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Under 3 Duke fire with 3 satellite fire, those shields are going to go down. It is going to hurt. Anything down south? No. More Colossus. There's a Fat Boy still running around. SMD in the middle. Psycho Ad protected by a bunch of shielding. We have Bling Shield just pumping out Colossus. It doesn't even matter. There's so much. There's so much mass. I'm assuming the mass has still gone up. I'm assuming. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, 1.2 million. Well, how high can this game go? 1.2 million, a ton of it sitting right here. How much mass is that? 110,000 mass. Half the mass of a Paragon. Well, yeah, about half the mass. No, it's 250. Well, almost half. Of the mass for a Paragon just in RAS comms and whatever else is here below. And then reclaim orders immediately being established for those remaining RAS comms. And those look like the satellites are targeting anything and everything now for Psycho Ad. He's not being directly targeted here. 1 hour, 9 minutes in this game. He's got to keep moving. He does have the regular shield upgrade. He probably should have just finished the heavy shield to protect himself. But this position is not going to fall now. Khalsa, 55 Ravagers, has produced a bunch over here and in the east. And we have actually not a lot of Cerberus fire, to be surprised. Fat Boy, the Calm of Signal Runner still alive as well. That force is growing though. We have a bunch of 4 Colossus prepping up. We have a donut operations in the northeast. And something by Corbin talking about Russian. Don't know what he's talking about, but probably something interesting. The Calm of Psycho is being pushed back northward. We have Strat Bombers being built by Team 2 Psycho Ad as well. So they're going to try to do a Strat Rush. Team 1 needs some AA. They need some Air Forces. And the Donut staying at range to take out anything and everything it can. And that Crab is going to actually lead the push. And the Calm is going to go with it as well. 125,000 mass on this crazy, crazy man that he is. 125,000 mass. That is ridiculous. Let's see, down in the south, what do we got? We got artillery still focusing on Psycho Ed specifically. And taking out some air units. Love to see that. Love to see artillery take out air units. Mass Fab almost dead as well. Psycho Ed trying to retreat to Blinn Shill's base. We have satellites now targeting whatever down south here for him as well. More defenses coming online, more shields coming online. But essentially, the war in the southwest is essentially stopped. Make, says Corbin, make what, bombers, gunships? I think they're making gunships. Yeah, it looks like they're making gunships, making those restorers. The air gun should definitely be a target to just immediately wipe out. because you don't want that producing any more air forces. 1, 2, 3 donuts online. We have Colossus trying to edge out the map. There they go. The attack order has been given to pushing forward. The crab going to start walking back. T1 spam in the form of Lobos. A couple of Fat Boys for defense. The Com for defense. A couple of T2 Cerberus now being built here for defensive measures as well. A bunch of shields and a bunch of T3 AA is being built. They're expanding their defensive rings. 3 donuts. Doesn't look like they've been given the order just yet. But those Colossus have been given the order. They're actually standing still, taking a lot of unnecessary fire, and a lot of Lobos are just being ripped to shreds here. A couple of them had tier 1-star veterancy, but with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Colossus inbound, the laser on that on the combo signal runner, he does get pinged. He's saying, hey, there's a thing here. We haven't seen him just yet. Kind of want to see it from Team 2. Oh, look, they saw him. Laser on that comm. Oh, he's dropping into the yellow. Trying to get out of range. And there he disappears once again. Must be an Omni unit somewhere. Oh, yeah, there's some spy planes flying around. The donuts are inbound. They're trying 3 this time, not 2. Signal Runner is still alive. He has 38,000 hit points on board. Ravagers just ripping into that Colossus, though. And now here comes the Zars, just going to throw all their mass. There it goes. The first one is down pretty soon. It's kind of hard to tell. They're all stacked on top of one another. Oh, okay, there it goes. There goes the first one. Going to land right on top of everything. Oh, there goes one. The second one is going to shoot just a little bit too far over. Oh, and then the third one will go straight to the east. Oh, it takes out all of the Dukes are down. The Dukes are down. But there's still a lot of Ravagers to get through. That is a lot of firepower. We have some Cerberus. It does look like Signal Runner will be targeted, though. Strat Bombers coming in, taking out some of those defenses. And Signal Runner still has not been spotted. The Colossus do not have Omni on board. And that is going to hurt. ASF's going to be ripped to shreds by defenses as well. And Signal Runner has been targeted once again due to some spy planes coming in. And there he goes. He defended to the last. I didn't see how much mass he killed, but good job on Signal Runner making it to this far in the game. 1 hour, 13 minutes. And it's now a tie game at 2v2 comms left. The Colossus have just been not unstoppable, but they've just been a just devastating force here for Team 2. We have Fat Boy Fire inbound, more defenses. Just being tickled is essentially what's happening. It's being tickled by those servers. And we have another donut inbound. We have a Monkey Lord on the ridge, kind of just hanging out up there. How many Colossus do you have, sir? 28. 28. I think this one doesn't count because it's being built. This one doesn't count. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so like a little under 20. Still, that's a lot. That is a lot. It's like, please move the Fat Boy. Trying to build stuff here. Team 1 is going to rebuild the Dukes, because why not? And is Team 2 rebuilding emissaries? No. The air grid down south is essentially gone. Those look like the satellites are focusing on the comm. Actually, they're focusing on pigeons. They could have focused on Blind Shield, but they've just been focusing on Psycho Ads. Essentially, it's been him doing most of the work. It's the Donuts and the Colossus. Everything else is just kind of immaterial. But the Colossus are retreating. Maybe they're just retreating for a final push. But the Donut's flying nearby as well. That is just so... I mean, I feel like somebody could have built a Mavor, somebody could build a Paragon, somebody could build literally anything else. But those look like there's artillery creep here in the west. Yoji is just, starting to be pushed back once again. Team 2 has some more Strat Bombers being built up, and it's just... I think we can speed it up a little bit now. It's a lot. The Dukes are down, but they're being rebuilt as we speak, though. Needs a lot more shielding. A lot of the Ravagers have been taken out. More and more Ravagers need to be spammed up. More lines of defenses. You have a ton of units inbound. Team 1 and Team 2, we have Nuke. A bunch of nukes being built. Does Team 1 have... Oh, now the lasers come in. Now the lasers come in and start dealing with PGEMs. There, look at that. Like 1 hour, 15 minutes in this game, and now they target something else. The Pigeon gets immediately reclaimed. Oh, that's definitely a lot of missed opportunity here in the east to try to assassinate some of that incoming resources here for Team 2. Donut's actually going to go south, and now we have the March of the Colossus in the south, and the defenses aren't as good in the south. It's a lot of triads, not necessarily those Ravagers. Yoji, unfortunately, you have... Oh, what is this? There's a Mava that's been built all the way in the west, and it's already been crashed by a couple of... Okay, we're going to slow this down. We have Donuts inbound. Didn't even notice. I was like, somebody's got to build something at this point. Donut comes in. Oh, it's going to land on top of that Mavor. It's not going to take out all the hit points, though. 800 left. The shields are down. Team 1. Oh, the Mavor does go down. He probably just finished it off, unfortunately. Was taking out this position. A couple of the shields go down. I think there's still satellites on board. There is incoming fire. Oh, takes on all those nukes. Those nukes are down with the assistance of a Duke firing inbound. The units are now rerouted northward. Didn't even notice the Mavor there. Lots of incoming fire from those Colossus. They're lining up one by one. We have Triads down here. We have more Triads down here. Needs more Ravagers. Needs more Ravagers. That's the thing for this game. Needs more Ravagers. Needs more shields. Needs more Ravagers. We have some Stalkers inbound, but I don't know really what they're going to get done. There are just shields around it, and then they just stop anyways. So what was the point of that, I wonder? Second Duke is almost done. Artillery is being rebuilt once again. The Donut is inbound for those satellites. Is the AA going to be enough? Is the shields going to last? Oh, one of the satellites is going to go down. Oh, the second one isn't going to stay alive. Oh, it might crash land and impact the satellite. Yes, it does. The comm was nearby as well, but the Colossus are just ripping through everything. Team 2 still has 2 comms left. Team 1 still has 2 comms left. Comm of Psychoad is perfectly fine in his shield base down south. And Blinn is just over here now building his own shield base. And now at this point, I feel like it's just the beginning of the end here. I'm going to speed it up to 3. Team 1 almost came back with a Mavor. They were doing a decent amount of damage against him in the east. But the Duke is still landing. But GG goes out. Yoji goes, nah, it's too long. Too long of a game. So much going on. He fought to the bitter end. We have Kalsa, still alive. 1400 in this game. Is done very, very well. Would have liked to see a couple different plays coming out from her, him, them. Anyway, GG's got to play out the TD though. Oh, to the end, I think is what she's talking about. ACU says for it. Yep. 2 artillery still online, or now online here, but look at this. Look at this pressure. It is a survival game to end. 1 hour, 18 minutes in this game. That is just a lot to deal with. And I couldn't have imagined how long they played for. I can only go to +2 just because there's so much stuff in the game. Still, Harbingers inbound, Colossus inbound, Donuts inbound, bunch of Team 1 Fervors inbound. It's just Team 1, it had a chance to come back in this game. Like they were doing very well. They came back, they were ripping through Team 2's artillery, but they didn't focus on Blinn Shield in the east, and it really cost them later on. Shields are falling around them though, so they got that going for them, but I don't think with this inbound Colossus push it's really going to make a huge difference. Couple of Megaliths though for defense that will stave off a little bit of the threat. Ravagers are able to turn around and fire. They're targeting the engineering stations to deal with the build power. And I don't think it's going to be enough, though. I think Kalsa feels like it's going to be the end. She's going to move to the east. I think, was that an emissary fire? I think that was an emissary fire. Oh, I saw something coming in. But here comes the Donut. Shields are very weak around these artillery, though. Donut is going to go down, though. We have, of course, the Colossus in the east. Oh, the Horde. The Horde is inbound. 18 Colossus on screen currently. Donuts crashing all around. Also trying to retreat. There's more Colossus coming in from the south. The Colossus from the west are taken out, but the Colossus from the east are ripping through those defenses as fast as they can. We have spy planes and air scouts finding what is hiding from the Team 2. Another Colossus is going to go down due to just some Cerberus and crab fire. Taking around a engineer for some fun. And then just gets sucked up by a different one anyways. It says, nope, you are dying to vacuum hand. Sorry. Mikasa is retreating. 10 hit points a second. The crab is down. The donut is inbound for that comm. But the satellite might get to him first. No, satellite. The Colossus might get to him first. And that is the last comm dead on Team 1. Means Team 2 wins this game here. 1 hour, 21 minutes in this game. On the recording, it's 1 hour, 30 minutes for the recording. This game took a little bit to get up to speed. And once it did, man, it did not stop. It was nuts in this game. Let me know down in the comments if you feel the same. Hit that sub button, hit that like button, hit the comment section down below. Let me hear what your thoughts were. And thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. And I feel like for MVP, everyone gets MVP. 1 hour, 21 minutes. Just crazy match. If I had to pick one person that just did a very outstanding job, who would I pick? Corbin did a very good job with the air. We had, of course, Blindshield did a just amazing job with those Colossus and donuts. Just the amount of stuff in this game was nuts. It was nuts. But I don't know what else to say. It was just nuts. So I feel like I'll just give it to Blindshield because it's just the amount of stuff. He just kept producing and producing and producing. He just would not stop. Currently on the map, we have 800,000 reclaimed. So it was a ton of it was reclaimed. But we saw 1 million mass on the field. So much stuff. And again, thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. And I will see all of you in the next one.